Let's make fun of a bunch of morons who are destroying culture again, shall we? Let's just get into it, man. We got so much news. So much news of morons getting owned and completely destroying everything that we used to love. And, you know, I'll just go back to the things that I used to love because I don't care. Tron Ares was awful. Marvel Studios fired everybody. Star Trek is completely fucked. Hollywood unions are afraid of, I don't know, everything pretty much because they fucked it up. They fucked everything up. Dozens of celebrities are panicking because for some reason, somehow, some way, they didn't see any of this coming. They just said we were all wrong and stupid and chuds. But we saw the writing on the wall, the people who were paying attention, the actual people who actually consume culture, not just trying to divide and get into politics and put politics into everything. Remember back when politics was like shamed whenever it was brought into the culture? Let's bring that back. Why can't we bring that back? And just make normal stuff again. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think this is just going to get worse and worse and worse until our culture completely collapses. And it's not just in the United States. And it's not just in America. It is all around the world. And I think we're going to end up taking in a bunch of culture from other places, which used to be fine when we were making our own culture and it was badass. But we ain't got nothing now. What do we have? Leave down in the comments what we actually have that is making good stuff still. It's few and far between, I'll tell you that much. I have a PayPal down there in the description and in the comments. Just check those comments, man. Donate to my PayPal. Donate to the Fables Farm. We got chickens, we got goats, we got sheeps, we got dogs, cats, guineas, and we want more. We are building culture here, and our culture is to cultivate, build community, create cool things, create art. Anyway, yeah, do that. That'd be awesome. I'd love you forever. Tron Ares is awful. Another Disney flop. And I used to love Tron. I loved the first Tron movie. I even loved the second Tron movie. I watched it in theaters when it came out with a girl that I liked at the time. And I think I was in like 6th grade. It was great. No, I was in 8th grade. I think that was my first girlfriend, actually. Like, the one I was with for 10 years. I think our first date in like 8th grade was to go see the second Tron movie. Anyway, what happened? How bad is it?
Nerderotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. It's time to review another Disney movie, and believe it or not, they've had a pretty rough year. Sure, they have the one and only film to pass $1 billion at the box office in 2025 so far, Lilo and Stitch.
It's not going to be hailed as a great in the future. We're going to look back at this movie, and we're going to be like, watch the animated one.
Which we will get to. And later on this year, they're releasing James Cameron's Fire and Ass, which will gross the GDP of a mid-sized European country. And
also, nobody's going to talk about it.
Majority of moviegoers who go see that film will forget about it by the time they get to their car. But unfortunately for the House of Mouse, all of those profits and potential profits are going to get gobbled up by all the flops. Snow White flopped, Elio flopped, Captain African American flopped, Thunderbolts flopped, and the Fantastic Four Missteps flopped. But there is still hope for Bob Iger, you know, the guy who promised to focus more on quality over quantity for the last 3 years in a row, and he also said they were going to focus more on original content right before he announced more unnecessary prequels, sequels, and live-action remakes of animated films.
Yeah, if you watched my last video, you'll see me talk about Xbox and how they made all these promises and none of them get met. Corporations, whenever they make promises like this, they always lie. They always do the opposite of what they promised because markets changed. Markets change. And they lie to you in the moment to get you on board so they can make more and more and more money. And they're banking on stupid people who are barely paying attention and that buy up all their slop to believe them and then not notice. They completely forget that they even made these promises.
The aforementioned Avatar, Zootopia 2, and Tron Ares, a film admittedly very early on I was looking forward to. I've been a fan of Tron since I went to see it back.
I heard that Jared Leto was in it and I was like, well, here we go again.
back in 1982 when it blew my 11-year-old mind. And despite
A guy that operates a sex cult.
Rubberface Jeff Bridges, I'm a fan of Tron
Literally,
Legacy.
he does.
Yes, of course, it has one of the greatest OSTs of all time. The world
True.
misses you, Daft Punk. Tron is definitely a cult classic,
And by the way, people didn't like Tron Legacy when it came out. I thought it was really good.
and one could argue Legacy is a cult classic, and I think both films are really neat. While Tron as a franchise is conceptually cool, I can acknowledge that it's never reached its highest potential as far as storytelling is concerned. And while I didn't believe for a minute that current era Disney could reach that potential, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the first trailer because it didn't completely suck. But as time went on and more trailers were released, hope started to wane. And it certainly didn't help when Bruce Boxleitner, who plays Tron and Captain Sheridan, Hail B5, revealed that he wasn't even asked to be in the film.
Because I was asked constantly, are you in it? Are you in it? Are you in it? I said, no, they didn't ask. Simple as that. I don't know. And that's the way it is. And I wish them luck.
Dashing any hopes that they would maybe do what they did in Legacy and reveal Tron later in the Tron film. So I don't want to bury the lead. This is a Tron film without Tron. Still, it's got a 9 Inch Nails soundtrack and some cool visuals that I can see in IMAX 3D. How bad could it be? I never thought it was going to be great, but I didn't think I would hate it this much because fuck this movie. I hate absolutely everything it represents. And
I'm not even gonna unconventionally acquire this movie. No way. I don't even care. It's just gonna piss me off.
Absolutely agree with what could be the headline of the year. Tron Ares is so bad it makes you wish AI would hurry up and destroy Hollywood.
Dude, fucking based. Exactly how I feel. I'm just cheering on Hollywood to destroy all these freaks.
A shambolic film populated by some of the most aggressively charmless characters ever seen in a blockbuster. Well, I have to agree with everyone's favorite Ginge Dave Cullen when he said the term slop is a little bit overused, but it's applicable here because Tron Ares is quintessential 2000.
I'm gonna change course. I'm gonna stop saying slop and I'm just gonna say complete, utter garbage. It's trash.
2025 Disney slop with a heavy dose of girl bossing, with some of the worst acting and dialogue you will see in any film this year. And yes, the acting in Snow White is better. I don't think there's ever been a movie that's pissed me off this fast, like within the first minute. Remember the ending to Tron Legacy?
Goodbye, kiddo.
They didn't do it, did they? They fucked it up. They didn't even.
Page me. Need you at NCOM at 8 a.m. What about the board? You're chairman now.
What's next, Sam?
I guess we're supposed to change the world.
Yeah, well, fuck all that, because within the first minute of the film, they get rid of Sam Flynn by saying he left the company for personal reasons, and that's it. No further explanation needed because we need to get right into the Disney MO, their modus operandi, which is getting rid of legacy characters who more often than not are white straight males and replacing them with strong, diverse female protagonists. So what kind of a sequel is this? Is it a midquel, an interquel, an intraquel, a paraquel? Well, apparently it's a legacy sequel. No, not a sequel to Tron Legacy. A legacy sequel begins a new storyline while acknowledging and sometimes reintroducing elements from the original to attract new fans.
To attract new fans, there we go. Oh boy, we got to get that modern audience, right? They're chasing after an audience that doesn't fucking exist, dude.
And it's not like Tron has a huge fan base, but
it's the same thing they did with The Crow. Oh man.
I guarantee you this will alienate almost all of them. And Disney's rationale from this decision from producer Justin Springer. It's a new
You know it's bad whenever you make movies that nobody wants to even pirate.
Story. It's not a sequel to Legacy. It's a new Tron story that does exist within the same mythology. Nothing that was in the story of Legacy or in the original Tron film feels left behind so much or overwritten. I mean, except for abandoning the Flynn family storyline and ejecting Sam so diverse female protagonists can take over Kevin Flynn's company.
Eve Kim. She's following in her sister's footsteps.
Simply put, Tron Ares is the Terminator Dark Fate of Tron films. And it's not like the story is filled with any overt messaging aside from all the girl bosses, The story doesn't exist. Some may argue it feels like it's written by AI. I would argue it feels like it's written by HR. The premise goes a little something like,
Probably written by AI with the mind of with HR in mind, and then they rewrote it. And they were like, "Oh, okay, we can't make this seem like an AI wrote it, so we're gonna have to rewrite it, so it's not just like plagiarizing the AI."
this bad company that wants to do bad things owned by the toxic white male is racing against the good company that wants to do good things owned by the strong, diverse female protagonist. To be the first to develop essentially the Star Trek
Which would have been fine if it's not in literally It's like the same story that we get from everything. Literally everything.
replicator on steroids. Through some magic gobbledygook 3D printing sorcery, they're able to manifest out of absolutely nothing things like giant vehicles, trees, fruit, people. And I can hear you now, dear audience member. This has been done a million times in science fiction before, and I'm sure at some point in the film they'll explain this.
You serious?
The bad company that wants to do bad things is, of course, the Dillinger Corporation, because we could still use that from Legacy, and it's also run by a Dillinger. No, not Edward. They got a new one, Julian. He is the creator of Ares, who is an advanced and sophisticated artificial intelligence. And
This is the same shit they do with did with trash kids movies back in the day, where they're like, well, we couldn't exactly get the other actor on board, so we just changed the whole story and made it kind of similar. It's his relative.
the master controller of the Dillinger Grid, and somebody at Disney thought it was a good idea to cast Jared Leto in the semi-titular role.
I hate the way his face looks. Am I the only one? He's very feminine. I don't like his facial hair. I don't know. There's something about his eyes too.
As the guy who isn't Tron in the Tron movie. And through the magic-y gobbledygook 3D printing sorcery, they're able to bring him into the real world, and there are endless militaristic applications. There's one problem though, he only lasts 29 minutes in the real world, but to be fair, and I don't mean to throw my fellow dudes under the bus here, but I gotta keep it real, according to a lot of ladies, that's long past the average time. Now that's a little detail toxic white male CEO of the bad company left out during his investor presentation. And this brings us to the film
Jared Leto looks like a lady with a beard. Just saying.
MacGuffin, The Permanence Code, and Eve Kim, played by the Oscar-nominated actress Greta Lee. The Permanence Code, surprisingly enough, does exactly as described. It makes anything brought into the real world permanent.
Very original, Captain.
And it turns out Kevin Flynn has had it all along. Now, does it have anything to do with the ISOs from Legacy, considering Cora is in this world alive and permanent? Nope, this film is doing something completely different, yet the same. Eve Kim and her diverse personal assistant go to Kevin Flynn's bunker in Alaska in search of this permanence code, where they find it pretty easily. Then they create an orange tree on the top of a mountain in Alaska that lasts longer than 29 minutes pretty easily. Now, I'm not against exploring other things in the Tron mythology, and I'm not against new characters. Hell, I'm not even against there not being a Tron in the Tron film. But after the first few minutes, the filmmakers unceremoniously get rid of Sam
Whoa, wait. So they didn't even...
Flynn,
okay,
only to replace him with strong, diverse female protagonist and then directly connect it to Kevin Flynn. It makes it hard not to see Tron Ares for what it is. A modern Disney film, you know, the same company that did the same thing.
It's just all the same trash, just recycled with a new skin.
To Star Wars, the same thing to Marvel, the same thing to Willow, the same thing to National Treasure. Another soulless, repurposed piece of content and a cash.
And that's just Disney. If we look at all the other studios that are like Disney, they're doing the same things. It's all the fucking same.
Grab that's not going to make any cash. Anyway, back to the plot breakdown that I'm obviously trying to avoid, because basically the plot just serves as a surface level series of events to get us to the next action and special effects set piece. Dillinger's toxic white male CEO using Ares is able to hack into Encom's grid, where they're able to download all of Eve's data and then disable the grid. But not to worry, our girl boss of color has the code on a thumb drive. Julian Dillinger then 3D prints another copy of Ares and the lesbian space witch from the Acolyte, which brings brings us to the admittedly cool-looking light cycle chase scene in the city. Ares catches up with the girl boss of color who destroys the thumb drive. As Ares' 29 minutes are up, he starts to de-res, but he notices that Eve has sympathy for him after she discovers that he's a program. Right after that, Eve gets sucked into the Dillinger grid by one of the toxic white male CEO's goons using a particle gun. And it's at this point Eve becomes the MacGuffin. Since she has now been digitized, they can extract it from her disk or her mind inside the grid, which would permanently delete her or kill her. And of course, toxic white male greedy corpo CEO doesn't have a single problem with this. It's at this point Ares, who's been straying from his programming throughout the film, turns on his maker and offers to save the strong, diverse female protagonist in exchange for becoming a real boy. Ares and Eve eventually are able to escape the lesbian space witch from the Acolyte and the
Lesbian space witch. I love that. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, Star Wars. Was it Star Wars The Acolyte?
Dillinger grid, where they go back to NCOM and Kevin Flynn's office, which is now a museum where they could possibly find a backup to the permanence code. And wouldn't you know it, they find Kevin Flynn's old computer that has a backup to the permanence code, meaning they never really had to go to Alaska to that bunker because the permanence code was in the building. Anyway, this is where the third act gets resolved with nostalgia, including a preceding line from Ares saying, "I like the 80s.
80s. I like the 80s.
I love Lamp. I love Lamp.
And before the lesbian space witch from the Acolyte is able to stop them, Ares gets downloaded into the grid of the original Tron film. Remember the grid of the original Tron film? You might have noticed I haven't mentioned Gillian Anderson, who plays Elizabeth Dillinger, mother to Julian, because she does fuck all in this movie. Other than being a girl boss, yes, I know, she wasn't in charge, but she spent the entire film berating her son and threatening to take his job away from him, which she had the power to do, and guess what? She took his job away from him. Unfortunately, that was right when Julian printed a new version of the lesbian space witch from the Acolyte and made her master controller. And then Scully is killed by the lesbian space witch from the Acolyte, who just finished printing, and now she's off to go stop Ares and strong, diverse female protagonist. Again, back on the grid from the 1982 Tron film, Ares finally meets an aspect of Flynn, who apparently...
I didn't realize the lesbian space witch he was talking about was the same chick from the Acolyte. Is that true? Is that why he said that? I wasn't really paying attention to the actress because she was just uninteresting to me.
Ages the exact same amount of time since the last Tron film that Disney completely ignored. And Jeff Bridges' big cameo was less than 5 minutes, and it only existed so he could hand over the permanence code to Ares and not ask about his son. Oh, and that big invasion from the digital world into the real world we were promised in the trailers just ended up being the lesbian space witch, a couple of her girlfriends, and one recognizer.
The power
and humanity.
Oh my god, dude. I'd be fine going the rest of my life without ever seeing that again. Dude, I remember when that happened, I saw it way too much.
His response to this strange recognizer just destroying a city was to send a helicopter and 2 jets. And the 2 jets were piloted by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Eve and her supporting cast, whose names I can't be bothered to remember, hack into the Dillinger mainframe and take it down. And that massive invasion from the digital world that consisted of 1 recognizer and 3 women is stopped in its tracks, and the lesbian space witch from the Acolyte dies. But because she is strong, diverse female antagonist, they made sure it was sympathetic. Even Ares part as good friends, because why would you have a heteronormative romance in a Disney film? Even her company NCOM, which she ran so much better than Sam and Kevin Flynn, is now off to make the world a better place. And Ares is off to live amongst the people as AI Jesus. And the Disney film ends with Julian Dillinger escaping to the ruins of his grandfather's grid and becoming Sark. And the only reason I didn't walk out of this film was to review it, and because I was with my son, who I later found out wanted to walk out.
Wow.
And again, the story is not overtly filled.
You know, when your son doesn't want to watch the Disney movie with the sci-fi and the lasers and the cool graphics, then you fucked up, man. You fucked up.
With the message outside of its obviously mandated girl boss casting from Disney that's become so predictable, it's hilarious. The lesbian space witch from the Acolyte is our strong, diverse female antagonist and sympathetic villain. Gillian Anderson as Elizabeth Dillinger, who again should have just been the villain of the
Sounds like I'm glad I didn't go watch this movie. It would have been a Dillinger escape plan out of that theater.
Show always has the position of power. They make it abundantly clear that she handed her son, Julian, who she doesn't like very much, all the power just so he can be around to fuck up long enough.
Yep. Of course, they make the problematic, white, hostile villain character have mommy issues. That's actually his problem the entire time.
So she can take it back. And when she's eventually killed, her dying words were to her son, not "I love you," is "This is all because of you. Girl, you're the one who put him in power." And then, of course, there's Greta Lee's Eve Kim, which is an absolutely nothing of a character. I have to agree with Nerd Cookies when she said Eve is the Rey Skywalker of Tron Ares, although Daisy Ridley did a better job acting. For those of you out there who might correctly point out that...
Why is she so pretty here? She was not pretty.
Greta Lee was nominated for an Academy Award, I would respond by saying a dude was nominated for Best Actress. And for whatever reason, the script, her skills...
And she's just not pretty in this movie. What the fuck, man? It's like they did it on purpose.
Or both. She was abysmal in this. To be fair, everyone's dialogue was horrible, but at least Gillian Anderson could make it sound good. But Greta Lee was a plank of wood in this, and her character was paper thin. You know it's bad when you're strong, diverse female
Yeah, she looks like the main character of Intergalactic in this movie.
Protagonist's entire characterization is told through 2 exposition dumps. One visual when Tron Ares accesses her phones and it acts like the memory store from Doctor Strange Mom. And the second exposition dump is verbal when Ares explains the entirety of Eve's quality, conflict, and motivation to Eve. And since I can't play the clip, I'll just read it to you. Thanks to our friend Little Platoon on X Twitter, an actual dialogue exchange from Tron Ares spoken while driving a Honda Civic across a bridge at high speed. For the record, I don't think you have anything to be ashamed of. Space Paranoids has entertained hundreds of millions.
I love how it says Honda Civic because I think that's one of their main sponsors. Pretty sure Honda was a thing in the Deadpool Wolverine movie too.
Plus, it's a pretty cool game. Anyway, you told your sister that designing games left you feeling hollow, broken. Was it that your work was about entertainment and profits, and her work was about improving the human condition?
This is what they think they're doing.
Your text suggests a certain fixation with not being able to live up to her standards, which must have been complicated, especially considering she was the younger sister. By the way, I don't think you should quit. Your plan upon returning from the mountains, if I read you correctly, was to hand over the permanence code to NCOM and let them figure out what to do next. Now I understand. You completed your work as a way to be connected to her.
That sounds like it was AI generated, 1000%.
And yes, Greta Lee's Eve Kim is very much a Mary Sue, who starts out the film pretty remarkable, but she doesn't believe in herself. But once she starts to believe in herself, she's pretty remarkable. Then there's Jared Leto's Ares, who was just flat. We know the dude can act, he's just not a lead, and Hollywood needs to stop trying. Ares goes through some minor trials and tribulations in the first few minutes of the film, but there is no point where there's any tension that's gonna make you think anything other than, oh, he's totally gonna survive and get everything he wants by the end. And Ares had his Gary Stu moment at the end when he meets Jeff Bridges' Kevin Flynn for under 5 minutes, who finds him so remarkable, he just gives him what he needs and doesn't ask about his son. And yes, Jeff Bridges was completely wasted in this film, and so was Gillian Anderson, who probably should have been the bad guy. And yes, the toxic white male CEO is yet another Elon Musk allegory. I just finished watching Alien Earth, and there's a character named Boy Cavalier who is, believe it or not, an Elon Musk allegory. And poor Jodie Turner-Smith, I hope she finds a role that eclipses being the lesbian space witch from Acolyte, because that's all I could think of when I saw her in this.
Yes, yes.
So buckle up, folks, because the bad guy in every Hollywood blockbuster for the foreseeable future is going to be AI until AI takes over. And more often than not, oh hell, every time, it'll be controlled by some form of a toxic white male incel. And like Alien Earth with Tron Ares, you had some interesting concepts that were completely wasted. This is why you need smart people writing science fiction. You got to work at
Well, they got rid of all the smart people because the smart people were problematic. They made all the dumb people feel like they were dumb.
Verisimilitude. I could believe a light cycle would work in the real world, or you could digitally print edible fruit. At least throw out some bullshit like you reversed the polarity or manifested it through quantum entanglement, instead of, and I quote, a $6 million particle laser that creates organic material out of nowhere. Kind of crazy, right? And yes, the special effects are good and meaningless because there's no story to support them. Give me engaging characters and a good story over special effects any day. Hell, it worked for years with shows like The X-Files, Star Trek, and Doctor Who, and movies like Tron. If you turn the sound down on this movie and just watch it, you could still follow it. Speaking of sound, there's that Nine Inch Nails OST, so Disney could repeat the success of the Daft Punk OST, which didn't happen. I would say it's good, and at some points, really good, but not great. And it sounded like what it was, a band who had just gotten back together who was also decades past their prime. And this brings us back to Lilo and Stitch, which I mentioned earlier in the video.
Just why? Why did this need to be a thing? Because they were trying to cash in on the success of one of their greatest movies of all time, I guess. And they made it less good. I don't get why this was even a thing that had to happen. So they can make a quick buck? Because this isn't a movie that they're going to be able to make money off of over time, like the Lilo and Stitch series. Because I still see the DVD and VHS movies everywhere.
So far, #1 movie of the year, which should worry everyone. I said this back in my Snow White review, and nothing has changed with Tron Ares.
I'm not worried. I'm glad that everything's collapsing. They're all pedos anyway.
Disney adapting other stories from Marvel or
pedos and degenerate sex freaks on drugs.
Star Wars, they don't even know how to adapt themselves. And because of the success of Lilo and Stitch, we're going to get a hell of a lot more of it, and not just from Disney, from other studios too. And it's fine to do unnecessary live-action remakes of animated films that aren't really live-action remakes, or unnecessary sequels and prequels when you have a healthy industry. But if this is all they've got, Hollywood is fucked, because essentially it's human AI. When innovation dies, your industry dies. And this may come as shocking news. It looks like Tron Ares is going to be another Disney flop. Keep in mind, the original domestic opening estimates for Tron Ares were $50 million. But according to the Hollywood Reporter box office, Tron hits the skids with $33.5 million opening. That's less than Morbius. And on a $180 million budget, things are looking grim. And
you think they're going to do what they did with Morbius and they're just going to re-release it? And just give it a second run in the theater?
Not just for Disney, for Hollywood and the poor theaters. It's gone from survive until 25 to
people liked Morbius so much that we're gonna run it again.
Survive 25. Now, 2023 was the year of the flopbuster. 2024 was the year of the wokebuster, and it's pretty clear this is the year of the slopbuster.
Nerderotic.com.
Beautifully said. Another garbage movie from Disney that I'm not going to watch, that I'm not even going to unconventionally acquire. Holy shit. People just keep eating up the slop. Sure, you can have it, man. You can have it. But Marvel Studio fires everyone. Eyes of Wakanda creators go bankrupt after specializing in DEI.
Did you know that Marvel put out a new show called Eyes of Wakanda?
No, I did not. I thought this was like a movie that was upcoming or something. What?
I didn't even know this was out. The only thing I see people talking about is Marvel Zombies, which I've watched half of Marvel Zombies.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I used to read Marvel Zombies.
It's actually not a terrible show. Some things I like about it. I haven't finished it yet, though. I still have 2 more episodes left, so maybe it gets worse. I didn't think it was terrible. Not a fan of Miss Marvel, though, really, who is the main draw for that show, but whatever. Eyes of Wakanda, though, nobody's talking about this, and maybe that's for good reason. Because when you head over to Rotten Tomatoes, just to see, what people are saying about it,
92% tomato meter, but the regular audience is 52%, which is actually probably lower than that because they don't let everybody review it.
52% audience score. That is low. And if you want to see something really funny, look at the critics. 92% for all critics. If you just go to top critics, the best of the best in Rotten Tomatoes minds, 100%.
Fucking greatest thing ever. Oh, man. Eyes of Wakanda, you're missing out if you haven't seen that. Bleh. No, thank you.
Right here, this is the metric right here. If the audience scores
Bro, every single time.
is really bad, but the critic score is really high, that means the show is shit. I'm just going to take a wild guess here. Just a wild guess. But I'm going to say the show is probably praised because it's a Black Panther thing. It's all people of color, barely any white people in it.
Yep, a bunch of purple and teal everywhere and everything. Same colors, same bullshit.
Something like that. So, of course, it's revolutionary. One of the greatest things ever made. Got to get those stinky old white people out because, you know, in mainstream media's mind, they should never have any form of show or movie or video game ever again. But, you know, I haven't watched the show. I don't know if it's good or not. Not
I don't
really
care.
Jumping to watch it either.
Same.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think anybody will be jumping to watch anything from the studio that made this because apparently they're shutting down due to lack of work and funding.
Yeah, because nobody's watching their bullshit. It has the same colors and same vibe as all the other woke slop nonsense from every other studio, from everything. It's not even Disney. It's not even just Disney. It's literally every single company that pushes woke slop. It's always got these like vibe colors. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. I decided to take a look and see what this
It looks like an Unreal Engine game.
studio was made in the past. And here's one. Here's their LinkedIn. And this comes from the company themselves. Hello. We are the Axis Studios, a multi-award-winning animation and visual effects studio.
Not anymore.
Specializing in diversity. All right.
Okay. All right. I'm tired of hearing everybody pushing for diversity and inclusion.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is what they hanged their hat on.
Immediate red flag anytime anybody starts talking about anything like that.
And now they're out of business.
Acting like that everything in the past was not diverse and inclusive.
Maybe you should have just focused on specializing in good animation. I don't know. And to be fair, this animation isn't, I've seen far worse. I'm a little tired of the computer animated shit, though.
That looks like a bearded lady.
Oh, can you do a hand drawing style again? Can we get hand animation back? Oh,
Dude, that's too hard, and that requires skill. They got rid of all the skilled people.
Here says it's the greatest thing ever. Oh, it just did the craziest MCU retcon, so now it's required show. Don't think you'll be seeing the season 2, though, as they're shutting down. Here are some things they've done. Eyes of Wakanda being the biggest thing. Scrooge, A Christmas Carol by Netflix. Love, Death, and Robots from Netflix. The Halo series from Microsoft.
Okay. Oh, no.
The Gears of War 5 and Outriders game trailers.
Oh, no. Do you see what I see?
Borderlands movie visual effects. Lost in Oz series, Amazon Prime.
Never even heard of that last one.
They came into existence back in 2000.
Sure. Probably wasn't any of the same people.
And they're done. That's a wrap for Axis Studios. A report from Caroline Reed at Forbes reveals the reason for the shutdown was a combination of the shutdowns due to the fear of COVID-19.
What? Are we still talking about COVID being an issue for things? That's absolute bullshit. Like, bro, it's been years at this point.
The multiple strikes in Hollywood and soaring inflation.
Wah, cry more. If you were any good, then you would have persisted through it.
Okay, these are pretty reasonable explanations. Because Hollywood is just going down. So this is a newer studio, right? 2000 is when it came into existence. Compared to, it's not that old. Hollywood is shrinking. Hollywood has been shrinking for a couple of years now, and do we really need a studio?
It's not even really shrinking as much as it's crumbling.
That specializes in diversity? And
all of them specialize in diversity, apparently. We don't have enough diversity and inclusion. Nothing is diverse and inclusive enough. Even though literally fucking everything is. And it always has been, for real, by the way. It's just now we pretend that everything wasn't before and now it is.
Internal document detailed the industry experienced a downturn in production commissions post-pandemic, particularly in the video game sector, which compromised the majority of the company's client base. The company was also impacted by the U.S. writer strike, which took place from May to September 2023, and the related actor strike, which ran until November 2023. These significantly pushed out production schedules. Allied to this, significant cost price inflation, particularly in respect of employee costs, further eroded margins and overall profitability. So this company started up in 2000, really tried to position themselves in a good place for the...
Well, there goes another one, I guess. Good riddance. We didn't need you. We barely even knew that you existed. And over half of the things that you created was bullshit. So let's move on to Star Trek Starfleet Academy trailer crushed. Franchise is absolutely toast. And it has been for a while, actually. And I'm a big fan of Star Trek. Especially The Next Generation. This makes me want to rewatch Star Trek The Next Generation, actually.
What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the always optimal Dr. Disaster. And when you try to picture the perfect example of what a Klingon is, if you're anything like me, you probably imagine Worf doing or saying something that kicks ass.
I am going to kill him with my bare hands. I will take him by the throat and rip out his esophagus. Worf!
You got a badass over here. But what you are most likely not thinking about, if you're trying to...
Oh, shit. Okay.
Picture the paragon of Klingon badassery. What you're not thinking of is this shit right here.
They always make the black guy effeminate and or gay. Every single time.
A soft little guy named Jaden, with a hyphen in the middle of the name, wearing a dress because no matter how much Klingons are exposed to soft-ass, shit-lib humans, I can't imagine them ever being tolerant of this sort of crap right here.
It doesn't feel like me. I look like a man in a dress.
Well, no fucking shit.
The New York Comic-Con was this weekend, and the upcoming Star Trek show, Starfleet Academy, was shown off. And despite the fact that you and I and anyone else who has ever appreciated Star Trek, we all have a pretty solid understanding of how Klingon culture works, that has not stopped the absolute nincompoops in charge of the Star Trek franchise from taking the most anemic looking dude they could find, putting Klingon makeup on him, and then fitting him into a skirt and thinking that was going...
This shit looks retarded, dude. Oh, man. Like, how do they miss so hard? I think it's on purpose. I think there's some kind of foreign actor that is involved with all of our culture and that is just there to take it down. They don't care about money. They care about power and taking down America and the American culture. I think that's what's going on with all this bullshit that keeps happening.
to please the fans. Everything about this show absolutely screams that it was made for teenage girls, and I hate to break it to them, but that is not the demographic of Star Trek fans, and it never will be. Before they ever successfully bring in that demographic, the franchise will die.
I know guys that used to be all about Star Trek. I know a lot of guys, like an actual full group of guys of about 8 people, because I used to go to comic shops and magic shops, and they'd go to all of them also. And I'd see them there, and they'd be doing all the Star Trek events. They'd be dressing up. They'd be going to comic conventions and stuff, and Star Trek conventions. And they stopped doing that. You know what they're doing now? They're doing anime stuff. They're doing anime stuff. And even that's getting taken over a little bit, to the point where Japan's like, hey, we're pulling back. We're coming back to Japan, and then we're going to... Demon Slayer doesn't count. That one is an outlier. But I think even that's going to get shitified, because everything that gets popular, the woke freaks end up getting into it somehow. Like, I don't know how they let these people in. Because they're really, really, really trying to get in, I think. And they want to destroy it.
I'm already dead.
And I think it's being perpetuated by some kind of foreign actor.
Released a trailer for this new Star Trek show, and the Hollywood Reporter described...
Probably George Soros or investment firms or something.
...it as having cadet sex and angry Paul Giamatti.
I don't care!
Just like their teaser trailer, it is getting absolutely roasted in the comment section, and as you can see here, the trailer has already been ratioed after 17 hours at the time.
Not only has it been ratioed, that's not very many likes and dislikes for one of the greatest series created of all time. Like, what the fuck? Most influential to nerd culture
of this recording, but I suspect there is some funny business going on. There are less than 1,000 likes and dislikes on this trailer, despite the fact that they have over 1,300,000 views.
No, that ain't happening.
Maybe the extension on my browser that lets me look at the dislike count needs uninstalled and reinstalled or something like that, or maybe this is just a huge statistical anomaly, but on my videos where I get a fraction of the views, I always get way more likes than what we're seeing on this trailer. But no, I think
there's something fishy going on with that.
There are shenanigans going on. When I look at these numbers, my instinct is to say,
it's a fake. It's real. It's a fake. It's real. It's a fake. Don't you understand? It is real.
That they have also unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel, so make sure you check on that, and also give me a follow over on X.
What the fuck, man?
Where my handle is Dr. Disaster1, and if you feel like supporting the channel and helping keep the lights on, consider becoming a member for as little as $5 per month. In any case, let's take a look at this trailer for the new Star Trek show. I highly suspect that they are removing dislikes from the trailer because less than 1,000 is a massive anomaly on a trailer with 1.3 million views. Even if this was a decently well-received show with like 100,000 likes on it or something like that, I would expect it to...
How much you want to bet every single male in this is effeminate in some way? And all of the non-effeminate males are going to be either angry or retarded.
Have something around 10,000 dislikes. With that many people watching a video, that's just how the numbers always work out, because you can never please everyone. And for that matter, I think the like count is low as well. There should be a lot more thumbs up. I have tested the extension on my browser though, which I use to see the dislikes by looking at my own videos. My YouTube app tells me how many likes and dislikes my videos should have, and I cross-referenced it with my web browser extension, and the numbers were the same in each case. So I think that it must be that this video itself is what is wonky. I suppose there's a chance that this is just a strange coincidence. Anomalies happen after all, but if Star Trek has taught me anything over the years, if something seems fishy, you should probably assume that someone is up to something. What's funny though is that despite whatever funny business is happening with the likes and dislikes on this trailer, they still managed to get ratioed, and it isn't surprising based on the sentiment that we are seeing from people. After all, the comments are tearing this show apart. But let's take a look at what commenters are saying so that you can get an idea just how disliked the show is. We'll just go down the line and read all the comments as they pop up. This person here wrote, "This looks like one of those CW vampire/supernatural shows where one misfit kid starts school and is the best at literally everything. I love most series of Star Trek, but each and every new series has more and more relationship drama, and it's starting to get old. Maybe this is for teens, but we don't have to dumb everything down for teens. They deserve better than that."
True, dude. When I was a teenager, I was watching all of the same stuff that adults were watching for the most part, and anything that was for teenagers, I felt like it was like for the dumb teenagers, you know? And I wasn't the only one who felt that. Even the people that I thought were the dumb teenagers thought that shows made for teenagers were dumb. That's why they canceled a lot of those shows and movies.
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, it seems like the target...
Remember like, what was it? Degrassi, all of that stuff? And they canceled it all because teenagers weren't watching that shit. 40-year-old wine moms were watching that shit. And that's not the target audience that they were going for.
The audience is teenage girls. Teenage boys are not going to be interested in the relationship drama.
Yeah, teenage girls aren't going to be interested in this either. This is going to be a major fucking flop. I think the only people that are going to watch this are going to be stupid, brain dead, or they're reviewing it.
They would be drawn into a Star Trek show for all of the cool spaceships and aliens and whatnot, and after luring them in with all that cool stuff, then you can give them some thought-provoking ethical conundrums to deal with. That was the recipe for old Trek, but now I'm not sure why anyone would look at the images on this screen here and think that this was for them. Star Trek was rarely focused on relationship stuff at all. It was rarely melodramatic outside of the movies, but anyhow, let's read some more of the commentary. The next commenter here wrote, "Finally, a Star Trek CW show," and then this guy called it Star Trek High School Musical. And yeah, from what I can tell from the show thus far, to me...
Bro, Power Rangers looks better than this.
It looks like the old TV show Glee, but in space. Hell, in the most recent Star Trek show, Strange New Worlds, they turned one of their episodes into a musical number. So that's where all of this is going. But this next comment here is the most interesting to me. It says 1.1 million views, 816 likes, 100,000 dislikes. Wow. So yeah, it really appears as if something fishy is going on with this video. If anyone out there wants to help me check, if you have a dislike extension plugged into your browser, then go to this new Star Trek trailer.
I don't even care about the likes and dislikes, so I don't even have the extension, because I like to come to my own conclusion, and I feel like the likes and the dislikes already set a conclusion for me, and it puts that energy out into my brain, and so I just kind of don't care. And when I see something, I want to make an assessment based on nothing else but my eyes viewing the screen, and usually I'm fucking right.
And see what the dislike count shows up as for you, and then let me know in the comment section. 100,000 dislikes is exactly what I would expect, given the lack of quality for this trailer, and given how all of the comments are letting them have it with both barrels. But I keep refreshing my browser, and the count is staying relatively the same. Anyhow, let's read some more of what people had to say. This person said, "If this series can be a sandwich, it would be just a bun with raw onions." And this one really hits home for me, because here's a bit of Dr. Disaster trivia. Onions are my least favorite favorite food in the world. They assault all 5 of my senses. I hate the taste, the smell, the touch, what they look like, and I even hate the sound of onions when someone crunches into them. It's basically the only food that I won't eat, and I wish I liked them because onions are in everything. And that is precisely how I feel about all this woke shit being pumped into entertainment.
I didn't know where that was going.
I enjoy the sort of crap.
Dude, I feel the same way, man. I'm on board.
That the makers of this show are pumping out because this crap has been put into everything.
Yeah, the makers of this show are gay and retarded, apparently.
I don't like it though, and I'm never going to. Anyhow, then this person wrote, I don't want 80% of the show to be relationship building in Trek. I want stories of space problems and how they get solved, red alerts, and a crystalline entity.
Yeah, but that stuff is hard to write. Teenage relationship drama, that's easy. We've been doing that for years.
And that is how most people feel, I think. If you...
Yeah, I'm fucking... Holy shit. I've been done with Star Trek for years and years and years, man. And I'm definitely done with it now. Like, I don't even think they can come back. Like, even if they make something that's good or even great, I'm just soured on it. I'm soured on the series. Unless you, like, change hands and completely rework the entire thing. I don't know. I don't think I can do it. Now let's talk about Hollywood unions. They're very afraid. It's like ever since that Imagine video during COVID, it's just been boo.
Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it is just me for this video because Neon went to go see the Dark Crystal with our daughter, and he isn't back yet. So I'm doing a couple of videos.
I love the Dark Crystal, man. That shit was my childhood. And when I tell people that, they're like, you watched that as a kid? That show terrified me. Bro, when I was like 6 years old, I was watching Species on Sci-Fi.
Until he returns. For this video,
I was into the zombie movies anyway.
We're going to talk about the whole situation with AI in Hollywood. They're really worried about this Tilly Norwood AI actress. I'll show you a picture here that you see her at different places. Like Hollywood's kind of freaking out about this fake.
Let's go! More Tilly Norwood. Everything. I wanted to be in all of this woke slot bullshit.
Actress Tilly Norwood. And they're going into negotiations soon for different unions because I think the DGA, the Directors Guild of America, and then we're going into next year into like the SAG-AFTRA and WGA again and all that stuff. We're heading into it, and now there's this big AI issue, you know, looming over everything. They're trying to get protections from it, and what does that mean? So
it means they're scared. It means they're scared they're going to be out of the job, and they can't be out of the job because they have mansions and companies that they're at the top of that they don't actually run, but they're the name and face of.
It's going to be a slippery slope, but it's going to be an interesting thing because copyright hasn't really been established yet on this stuff. Whatever, I'm going to tell you right now, whatever copyright laws happen will obviously benefit the studios and the rich. They always do.
Yeah, also, copyright not going to beat AI. And if you try and copyright something to do with AI, I'm going to tell you, the AI is not going to care. People who use AI not going to care, man. Good luck. And it'll be like the 5 big AI companies. They'll be like, okay, well, we can't use all this copyrighted stuff. But China's got their AI that doesn't care. So what do we do about that? Huh. Nothing. There's nothing you can do. If you don't just let IP law go free like China does, they're gonna fucking beat you, man.
But we don't even have a real set of rules yet in this, and they're moving into it ahead, wondering what's going to happen if you can have AI actresses or actors replace everyone. That's a problem. Because
not for me, because I don't watch the bullshit that they would replace all those actors with AI. I'm out on it.
As you know, especially with the unions, because they don't get money from that unless they can find a way to, you know, demand dues, and then maybe they'll be fine with it. They're also talking about how the AI is going to impact Hollywood as far as like actors, you know, scanning themselves now. Do the studios keep it? Do they lose the footage? Do they delete it? And different things, you know, along those lines. So they're having a bunch of discussions ahead of these union things. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a complete shit show again. I guarantee it. So before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe if you do.
Okay, you make good points. I will like. I'm already subscribed though.
I'll give you a woohoo, woohoo.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this. Another thing I want to mention about AI before we get started is, again, all of our electric bills keep going up and up and up and up.
I wonder why that is.
AI farms.
Mm-hmm.
All this electricity.
Yeah, we're just working our way into providing our own power, because if the electric keeps going up, there's no way, man.
For these locations that somehow the studios, the companies that own them aren't having to pay for it.
Yeah. By the way, you want to help us pay for this farm? We got some things that we're trying to get done. I got that PayPal down there in the description. That'd be awesome, man.
General public is, which I think is absolute dog crap. So if we start having these AI Hollywood studios pumping stuff out, how much more is that going to raise prices on the normies? Because they never have to pay for it. It's always the plebs or tax breaks or something stupid like that. So as a person that's not in these unions, I also protest for the fact that I don't want to pay for your shit. Anyway, so we're going to talk about this. If anybody's seen the show, I'm not as into the AI as Neon is. Both of us agree AI is a great tool if you're training it on your own things. And that's where we're having some questions come up in this too, is what is it trained on? So Hollywood's flipping out. Negotiations are coming up. They're heading into next year.
You want to know my opinion on AI? I don't have one.
With all this stuff. So they're worried about Tilly Norwood. They said that it's a difficult situation, and the union did not get anything on completely synthetic characters in the last round, meaning they aren't going to get any money for Tilly Norwood. But maybe they will this time. So I guarantee you, we're going to see in the next union negotiations, it's either going one of two ways. They're either going to do everything they can to block this so that their people get protected, or, which I think less likely, but if they do, it's kind of really, really funny. They might go all in on it and demand dues and, payment to be the person that represents these fake AI actors and actresses. My money's more on the first one than the second one. But the second one happens, it's going to be really interesting, and I'll get a box of popcorn and sit back and watch it. So, they're talking about this one handle, and
I think they'll be using AI definitely for stuff like the Lord of the Rings problem they had, where Gandalf was way bigger than all of the hobbits and the dwarves. So they kind of had to shoot his scenes separate from them. And he said it was so difficult that it made him cry. Now you can just shoot that scene and then just use AI to make them look bigger.
Miss Sean Nolan, who's this lawyer, he's a managing partner of intellectual property law firm. They shared their perspective during a panel at the Infinity Festival in Los Angeles. They said digital scanning of human actors for the purpose of using their likenesses, I can't read today, in film and TV projects is a tricky area for the unions.
Well, I can't read.
Unions, given how untested the legal questions are. I actually have a client right now whose body's being scanned, he said. What I received from the company was sort of a standard certificate of engagement. It was all right, just like you would normally use. And I said, well, what are you going to do with the data? What's the scope of the use? You ask questions like, are you going to delete the data? Are you going to keep the data? And then it's bringing all these questions up, like, what are they going to do in the future? Because it's not going to be the same as it always was. You have to start asking questions. They said, how are you going to use it? What are you capturing? How long are you going to have access to it? Is it an indefinite you have access? Do you destroy it afterwards? And then they said, how's this going to apply to actors who might have something done now? They're scanned, and 20 years from now, the studio might come.
They're definitely going to find all the ways to use your likeness however they feel like it, and they're going to trick you into it. You're not even going to realize how much rights they're going to have over you, because that's how it always goes. That's how it always been throughout the existence of Hollywood.
Back and say, hey, let's reboot this and use your scans from before. So do they have the right to keep those scans for 20 years in case a celebrity wants to do it? Or should they just destroy it without the celebrity's permission? It's like, what are you going to do? So these are things they're going to have to figure out moving forward, not to mention the copyright issues, what you're talking down here. Another vexing area is I
think everything's going to get so weird, so convoluted, and there's going to be so much AI slop that copyright's not even going to matter, man. Might matter for these official studios, but they're not going to be around because they're going to be taken over by everything else because they keep inshitifying themselves.
They have a bunch of unproduced screenplays whose copyrights are owned by the studio. And
It's like, man, I don't even care. I hope Hollywood collapses. You know, they've been a bunch of disgusting, sexual, degenerate, drug-ridden freaks who actually hate normal people. They say it all the time. And they go to these, like, weird satanic parties. And, like, they lie about it, too. And they'll lie straight to your face. Be like, nope, it's not going on. And we can see it. There's the evidence and even, in a lot of cases, proof that it's happening. There's hearsay from a bunch of different people who have nothing to do with each other, who say the same things about all these Hollywood parties. So, you know what? Also, how intermingled they are with the government and other governments around the world. And they do, like, these weird backroom rituals and deals and propaganda. Fuck it all. And that's where I'm going to leave it, man. Let me know what you think down there in the comments. Are we going to get out of this? Is it going to get much worse? Do you care? Are you worried? I'm not. Make sure to donate to that PayPal. That'd be awesome, man. I'd love you for fucking ever, man. Don't exactly need it, but it'll definitely help.